Welcome to Curious Chemistry channel. This video we will be talking about metallurgical processes, what are minerals, ores and concentration methods used in metallurgical processes. So what is metallurgy? It is a field of science which deals with extraction of metals from ores which are naturally found in the environment. Metals are found in the environment as their salts or compounds from which we extract them using different methods. The science which deals with this extraction process is called as metallurgy. Now let us see how these metals are present in the environment. They are mostly in the combined state, that is as their compounds, but sometimes in free state also, that is purely as a metal. Earth crust is the biggest source of these metals, and next to the earth crust we have sea water where some soluble metals are also present. So noble metals, we all know the platinum, gold and silver, they have little or no affinity for oxygen and they resist attack of water. Mainly platinum and gold, they are having no affinity for oxygen and water, and they mostly occur in native state, that is as a pure metal alone. They may be combined with some clay or rocky material along with that, but they don't have any compounding form. Whereas other metals are called as active metals, they have tendency to get oxidized to their ions, that is they are reluctant to get reduced to metallic state. They are not found in the pure form but as a compound, maybe as a salt or any other form, and they are said to exist in combined state. So metals are found either in the native or state or in the combined state. So what are minerals and ores? All the naturally occurring substances present in the earth crust are called minerals. Minerals are naturally occurring substances present in the earth crust. They are present in the form of their compounds. So all the minerals are not ores, that is you cannot extract elements from all the minerals. The minerals will be associated with certain unwanted materials which we call it as gangue. So these gangue materials like quartz, feldspar, mica, silica, all these have to be removed from the minerals to get the ore. So ores are the minerals from which metals can be conveniently and economically extracted. So all the ores are minerals, whereas all the minerals are not ores. Now let us see about different types of ores. Ores are present in their form of their salts like sulfides, oxides, carbonates, halides or sulfates. So let us take an example, iron pyrites. Here iron is present as sulfide ore, FeS, oxide ores where we have oxide form. Say for example in bauxite it is nothing but aluminium oxide. In carbonate ores it is present in the form of their carbonate salt. Example, dolomite we have calcium carbonate and magnesium carbonate mixture. In halide ores, the halogens are combined with elements. Say for example, we have a rock salt where it is nothing but your sodium chloride. Same way sulfate ores, barytes where we have barium sulfate. So ores are present in the form of their salts, and from this ores only we go for extraction and extract the elements. Now let us go into the steps involved in metallurgical process. First step is concentration, where we remove unwanted gangue material from the ore. Next is calcination, where heating in the absence or limited supply of air below its melting point. Roasting is the third step, where we heat the ore in excess of air below its melting point. Fourth is smelting, where we heat it with carbon at elevated temperature. Fifth step is refining, which is nothing but purification. Depending on the type of ore, whether all these steps will be followed or some steps will be followed for the metallurgical processes. So the first step is concentration. The very preliminary method of concentration is by hand picking, where the ore is separated from the main stock by simply picking it by hand, eliminating the adhering rocky material and breaking it with hammer. You are removing unwanted rockies, clay materials from the ore. This is called as hand picking, where the selected huge ore particles are separated from the other impurities. Next method of concentration is by gravity separation. There are two types of gravity separation methods available. One is hydraulic classifier, the other is using Wilfley table. So we will see what is hydraulic classifier now. Here we have a hopper through which the ore is poured down here, and we have a water reservoir which washes these ores. So when water washes these ores, the lighter gangue material washes along with water, whereas the heavier ore particles get settled down at the wedges which is present in the platform. So this platform will have wedges in which the heavy ore particle gets settled down, and the lighter gangue material is washed away by the water and separates out. So the heavy material, the ore material, gets at the bottom, and the lighter gangue particle is washed away by the water. This is called as hydraulic classifier method. So now let us see about another method of gravity separation, that is using Wilfley table. This is a wooden table which will have slits in between. There will be 2 hoppers or 3 hoppers through which the ore will be dropped down. There will also be a water pipe which washes the ores. So when the water is passed, the ore is mixed with water along with the gangue material and passes through the slanting table. The table will move in lateral directions so that the heavy ore particles, when flow through the table, get stuck with the slits and go to the one corner of the table. The lighter gangue material is washed away by the water. So the gangue material goes to the bottom of the table and collects at one end, whereas the heavy ore particles which is stuck by the slits get, due to the lateral movement of the table, goes to the another corner of the table and is separated. So we can separate heavy ore material and gangue materials using this Wilfley table method, a gravity separation process. Now let us talk about another method of concentration, that is magnetic separation. Here this method is used to separate magnetic and non-magnetic ores. There will be 2 rollers here. One is of magnetic type, and there will also be a leather belt which moves over these rollers. The ore will be dropped from the top using a hopper, and this leather belt will carry the ore through the rollers. When the ore comes near the magnetic roller, the ores which are having magnetic property like your iron oxides will be attracted by the rollers and falls near the magnet, whereas the non-magnetic ores are deflected and falls away from the rolls. Using this, we can separate iron oxide like magnetic particles and the non-magnetic particles from the ores by magnetic separation method. Next is concentration by electrostatic separation. Here the electrical property of the material is used to separate the ores. Some materials will have electrical conducting property, whereas the other materials will not have. Say for example, we have lead sulfide and zinc sulfide ores as the mixed one. Here lead sulfide will have a better conducting property than zinc sulfide. So these ores, when dropped through electrified rollers, the one which is having a conducting property are deflected by the rollers and falls farther away from the rollers, whereas the one which are poor conductors will fall near the rollers. So using this method, the conducting and non-conducting materials are separated. This is called as electrostatic separation. So next method of concentration is froth flotation process. This method is mainly used for separating sulfide ores. The preferential wetting of solids is used here. The sulfide ores are preferentially absorbed by oil than water. So when we have an ore of sulfides, we mix it with pine oil and then air is passed through them. So because of this air, the sulfide ores mixes with oil and form foam. This foam rises to the top and floats on the water. So when air is passed at a high pressure, the foam materials floats on the water, gets collected separately, whereas the heavy gangue material will settle down at the bottom. So using this method, you can separate the lighter sulfide ores by wetting it with oil and making it as a foam, whereas the heavy gangue material will settle down at the other side. This method of separation is called as Froth Flotation process. The last method of concentration is leaching. This is a chemical method of separation. So we add a chemical agent to the ore which reacts with it and forms a soluble material, and the impurities will not dissolve in it. Say for example, we take bauxite ore which reacts with hot sodium hydroxide and forms sodium metaaluminate, which is soluble and leaches out, whereas the impurities are not soluble and remain separate. So you can separate soluble material and insoluble impurities using this leaching method. Now we come to the end of concentration methods in metallurgical process. The rest of the treatment methods like roasting, calcination, smelting will be dealt in the next video. Please watch Curious Chemistry channel for metallurgical in Tamil as Ulogaviyal. Thank you.